Apparently not everybody feels like they were told the truth from time to time. Some people feel like in the NFL that maybe if they would have had some different information, maybe things would have gone a little bit more, I guess, on the opposite spectrum with how they made their decisions and how they opted to make those career choices during the course of their illustrious, high-paying NFL employment. And one of those guys is none other than Kirk Cousins, who was featured on Netflix's Quarterback Season 2, and he talked about the decision to go to Atlanta and how, well, had I known that, maybe I wouldn't have made that move.
Wasn't expecting us to take a quarterback so high. At the time, it felt like I had been a little bit misled, or certainly if I had the information around free agency, it certainly would have affected my decision. I had no reason to leave Minnesota with how much we loved it there if both teams are going to be drafting a quarterback high. But I've also learned in 12 years in this league that you're not entitled to anything. It's all about being able to earn your spot and prove yourself.
So that's
the last part is the best part of it. I mean, you've been in the league long enough to understand that they handle things the way they handle things, and you make your decision based off of the information that you have and the possibilities of what could take place beyond that. Period. Like that's about it. Like it's a pretty open shut situation. Like, okay, how many other players do you think have been misled that are in a position of choosing in free agency? Like anybody could come up with a reason as to why they feel like they've been misled. But the bottom line is you have a job. It's a great paying job. You are paid as a starter. They took a quarterback. It wasn't Michael Penix that took your job or you didn't get a fair opportunity. You played your way out of the job. It's like you misled the Atlanta Falcons. They didn't feel like they were going to have to use Michael Penix that early, but they had to because you got the yips. Like, you got hit. You didn't want to get hit anymore. You start turning the ball over. You start playing poorly, and they felt like they needed to switch it up and see if they could get a spark because you weren't playing well. Is that fair?
Yeah, although I would say this, if you're Kirk Cousins, I wonder if part of him not playing well, obviously he's coming off the injury, but he even alluded to, just sort of having to learn an entirely new offense, having to learn all of these new things, that also adding that on top of the fact that you drafted a quarterback as high as you did. I just think when you take a quarterback that high in the draft, the clock starts ticking. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if Cousins felt a certain way and could just never let it go when he got to the season. Because he can say all the right things like, listen, anything can happen in the NFL. It's a business. I think that he looked at that and it was always in the back of his mind. Like, I'm out here. I'm with this team. I'm with this organization. Yet they went and did something that I did not expect. They went and did something that, had I known that, I wouldn't have left Minnesota because he was successful in Minnesota. And I wonder if that added to the pressure that he felt in trying to go out and perform, and all doing so while coming back from the same injury that Aaron Rodgers suffered. And we saw how that played out. And he suffered it later in the year.
Well, if you wanted to stay in Minnesota and you had the opportunity to stay in Minnesota, you make your choice. You make your choice. If the value is there for you to want to stay, then you stay. But you made a choice. So there's no reason to come back after all this time and say you were misled or I would have stayed in Minnesota. Minnesota was easily, clearly the best situation for you to be in. Personnel-wise, you have an amazing receiving core. You got a dope tight end. You got a good offensive line. You got a running back. You got a pretty decent defense. You were in position, pole position, to take over the NFC North and be a competitor in the North. And, oh, by the way, they did it with Sam Darnold. They did it with Sam Darnold. Don't say, I thought I had a great situation here and this, that, and the other, and I could have did this, and they were going to draft a quarterback, then they're going to draft a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers had to deal with them drafting quarterbacks multiple drafts, multiple times.
But I think Kirk Cousins, he talked with Minnesota, and they let their intentions be known. Hey, by the way, we'd love to have you back, but we are going to address the quarterback position in the draft. They were upfront with him, which is why he made the decision to go to Atlanta, because he said, look, I understand that. I don't want to be in that situation, so I'm going to go sign somewhere else where I can be the guy, and I know that. Oops. It turns around that they drafted a quarterback too. And Kirk Cousins is like, well, if I would have known that, I would have just stayed. I would have just stayed in Minnesota. And there wouldn't have been any issue whatsoever. And they wanted to keep him. Kevin O'Connell wanted to keep him. But it's, it just goes to show you that you can't have it all, because everyone talks about Kirk Cousins and he's won in the, the business of business in the NFL and contracts and guarantees and all that stuff. And right when you think that you've got it all figured out, hey, look, I appreciate it, but I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to make a ton of money, and you guys are going to draft a quarterback of the future. All good. It's business here. Then business came back and bit him in the ass a little bit. And now he's in a bad spot.
He got his contract. What type of a bad spot is he in? He didn't get the contract of a backup. He got the contract of a starter. You've got the contract of a starter. Your team didn't definitively take a strong step in winning last year. Atlanta is still a question mark team. Michael Penix, people are excited about him, but it's still a question mark for him at quarterback as to what he can do for this team. I think he may have released this prematurely. There's no reason for you to put this out there. The bottom line is you might have ended up in the same exact situation in Minnesota. You might have got the yips. You might have played bad, and maybe J.J. McCarthy doesn't get hurt. Maybe he takes your position. Maybe you're a backup with a starting quarterback salary, and you have to eat it like anybody else who loses their job in one of the most competitive industries that exists in the world.
I think he took on too much, to be honest with you. I think he got to Atlanta and he took on recovering from an injury, learning an entirely new system. Oh, and by the way, the clock's ticking because we just drafted a guy 8th overall.
So all you got to do is eliminate one of those components. If you're in, and maybe even two, you eliminate, because he has to still deal with coming off of the injury, even if he's in Minnesota. And as far as going and learning a new offense, that would be the only one that you would eliminate, because you were still going to have to fight. If they kept Kirk Cousins, I do not believe that impacts if they take a quarterback or not. In fact, I think that's why Kirk Cousins got the hell out of Dodge.
Yeah, because they told him that. We're taking a quarterback.
So in the end, if you decided to stay and they draft a quarterback, all of the circumstances he's facing except the playbook are still in play. You got to try to come back from off of the injury. You got to come back, and you got to hold off the rookie. It's happened before. There have been quarterbacks that have been established quarterbacks for their team. Somebody gets drafted, and they're competing for that job. In fact, for what it's worth, outside of it being a high draft pick, that's the only thing that makes it a more viable conversation, because the bottom line is every single roster spot, not just starting, every single roster spot is a intense battle to get it. It's like having the most amazing athletes play musical chairs with one seat. Who's going to get it? That's the NFL. So to me, you got to always be prepared to compete. So whether it was a high draft pick or not, who's ever backing you up, they most likely want to start. They most likely want your job so that they can put themselves in position where they can ask for the type of money you're making. You're always competing. So there's no such thing as in this type of scenario, in this topic line, that you can say you were misled. Because the bottom line is, if you don't understand coming into the National Football League that you just got drafted or you just got hired to take somebody else's job for lesser money, and that's every single person that's brought in. If you don't understand that coming in, then you're behind. You're behind. You can't mislead somebody. Oh, I thought I was coming in just to be the starter. You're just going to only have me as a starter. No. There's somebody there that if they can get the same results from you, like a Sam Darnold, and they don't have to pay you what they pay a Patrick Mahomes or a Dak Prescott or Joe Burrow, if they don't have to pay that, that's who they're going with until they can't. That's why rookie contracts are so important. I don't have to pay you for being amazing. I got 3-4 years that I can go, maybe more, maybe longer if I want, and I can get that talent at this price. Bottom line.
I feel bad for Kirk Cousins.
You should.
Let me tell you why.
Why?
Because this would have been the equivalent to the 72 Dolphins' perfect season when it came to the business standpoint of the NFL. He could have walked away and said, got them all, beat everybody, got franchise tagged twice in Washington, got all that money, and then became the first guy to get a fully guaranteed contract. He even dangled Minnesota and the Jets against each other and then sold everybody on, I took $3 million less to go play in Minnesota because I liked it more. And then he was about to get another extension. All of a sudden, he gets an injury and he says, you know what? Oh, you're going to draft a quarterback? No worry. I'll continue this bank heist. I'll go to another bank in Atlanta and I'll take from them. And he was about ready to get out of there, coming off an injury with all those hundreds of millions of guarantees that he's got, and all of a sudden, the damn Falcons front office is waiting outside with a squad car, and they scoop him up, and there goes his perfect run in the NFL business world. Gone. Man up and vanished like a fart in the wind. Could have been perfect. Everything lined up just right, and the damn Falcons ruined it all. Feel bad for Kirk Cousins.
How? He got the contract.
Yeah, now he's stuck as a backup. He's trying to get the hell out of there.
Hold on. It's all about perspective. Again, let me reiterate. He could have been stuck as the backup in Minnesota.
Yeah, but he liked it there. It was perfect. Everything was perfect.
Well, then take a pay cut and go back. Take a pay cut and go back.
Perfect.
They misled you. Get back some of that signing bonus and go back.
He was trying.
To me, yeah, right. To me, he's already won. It's not. He didn't blemish his perfect record of handling business at a high level.
Oh, jeez. Which one?
Not at all. He got his contract. He wasn't misled on his contract. He wasn't misled on them numbers. Now, if he comes out and he says, some of this stuff is based off of incentives and escalators and playing time. Okay, I get that. If you were misled that way, he has a legitimate gripe. He has a legitimate gripe. But as far as I'm concerned, the reason why he's in the Hall of Fame of doing business and doing contracts is because he gets his money. The money that he's going to get whether he's a backup or whether he's a starter. And if that's the case, he's already winning. You're winning. Michael Penix has all the pressure on him. If he doesn't prove out, they didn't move you. You're the backup. Something jumps off. You get back in. Take your shot. And then whatever happens next, you leverage it to maybe try to get another deal out of it. That's how it works. No reason to have hard feelings. No need to feel sorry for him, and no need to be a victim in the matter.
Hey, Kirk, I support you, man. Your pursuit for perfection, and all of a sudden the Falcons ruined it all. It's too bad, man.